May profits be upon you. Welcome to another weekly Forex forecast. I am your host, RT Money, and I am glad you're here. I'm glad that you showed up. I love people that have the interest, the the ambition, have just want to learn this stuff. I nerd out on it, nerd out on reading these charts, and nerd out on getting the bias correct for the week. It gives us something to base trades off. It gives us context. It gives us the confirmations that we need in order to make good decisions when it comes to trading. Anyway, I don't know how I got off on that. All right, let's just start on. Let's look at the U.S. dollar index. We're gonna do some top down. All right. With the U.S. dollar, there is nothing on this chart that says bullish. All right. Just it's just not saying bullish to me. All right. Uh, Within the next week, anyway. We did have a bullish break of structure here, right? And that's the first thing I look for. What was the last break of structure? Was it bullish or bearish, right? And then in this case, it was bullish. However, look what we've been doing since. I mean, we've been doing that since for a couple of years now, right? It's not helping. We're moving sideways, is what we're doing. And the previous month was a very bearish candle, all right, that closed below the low of the previous monthly candle. And the current monthly candle is got, you can see there's a very small shadow, shadow of a wick. There's a very small shadow there, and we're heading down. We're already filling this wick here. A lot of times though, you'll see that 50% area where price will stop. Coincidentally, that's where it's stopping. But do I think that's where price is going to stop? No, I do not, actually. If we look at the weekly, all right, what am I looking for? I'm looking for order flow. What gives me the clue? What indicates order flow? Fair value gaps, all right? I see a fair value gap. Let me get something to write with. I'll use this. All right, I see a fair value gap here. All right, that's a bearish one. And there's a bearish fair value gap here. All right. And you can see how price is following accordingly, right? Price comes back up into that fair value gap and then heads down. Okay. And look at all that momentum coming to the downside. And we have a break of structure here, right? All right. It's just a shift in the market. And we are heading towards this swing low. That's the direction we are heading in, and I believe that we are going to reach there. All right, it's not going to go straight there. I don't believe that. I do believe we'll pull back up and test this low. Obviously, I got to stop that. All right, but I do believe that we're heading in the direction the market wants to hit it. All right, if we go to the daily, you can see I've drawn out the bearish daily fair value gap that price took its time to reach up into and then fall from. All right, here's that market structure shift here. All right, and I do believe that these lows will be tested before price goes any further. All right, and I believe we're going to do something like this and then come on down. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but the if you're looking over here to the old lows over here, we have um, this low already taken. So this area, I'm thinking in this area, will probably be moving up a little bit, because of the we've taken a external point of liquidity. This was the internal point, right? We made it to an external point past these lows. You look for pullbacks, you look for reactions, all right? And that'll put us in a good position to take another short. So that's what I'm looking for. And we'll look for Monday's candle and we'll see if it forms another bearish fair value gap. That's it. All right. Now, should price come all the way up here and leave a wick up there, that means we have no more bearish order flow, right? So we may see price dilly dally up here, and we'll keep an eye on that. But until that happens, we're bearish, right? Now we're going to go to the indices. We're going to go to the S&P. All right, you can see that we've been very bullish, coming taking out the all-time high there, creating new all-time highs, and I love the way that price made based out here, all right, and then pushed up higher, and then return to it. All right. And there is no bearish fair value or bullish fair value gaps here. So what is going to help price to turn around and continue to be bullish? Hello. I'm looking for something to write with. All right. We're looking on the monthly. All right. And we're in this current month. We're taking out the previous month's low already. All right. And we are heading towards the low of June. Okay. So uh, do I think we'll get it? There's a good chance that we're going to get that. All right, let's go to the weekly. All right, what I want to point out to you is this is why I go as high in the time frames as I do, is these areas of fair value. When price creates these areas of fair value, it offers fair value to sellers and buyers, right? And when price leaves these areas, when it comes back to it, it's usually acting as support because this was an area of resistance. I'm not talking about trading support and resistance lines. That's not what I'm talking about at all. But once price has given fair value, when price returns to that area of fair value, it usually turns back around and continues the trend it's on, which is, oh my gosh, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and I'm looking for that to lead to the higher high. Right? Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay. All right. So on the weekly, we are bearish. Do I see bearish order flow here? You see these wicks? It took out all of those bearish fair value gaps, is what I was describing in with the monthly. So what are we looking at? We're looking at the fact that price has ran through bullish fair value gaps. Okay, so what does that mean? It's not respecting bullish fair value gaps. Here we are at the area of fair value, which is also known as an order block. All right, and I'm looking at price coming back to mitigate out of bearish orders, out of sell orders. I'm sorry. All right, mitigate out of those sell orders and continue with their buy orders. All right. This is market makers at their best. This is what institutions like to look out for. All right. And they get people in orders so that they could switch hands. All right. The leverage switches hands. All right. And they're trying to take prices higher. They bring there's a purpose when you see those pullbacks and trends. There's a reason for trends. It's not just, hey, we just shifted the market. The market just shifted. No, there's a reason for it, and you need to see it. All right. I'm talking too much. All right. The daily. All right. If we go to the daily, all I'm going to point out to you is price had a very bearish, a daily bearish fair value gap, came back into it, price fell. That's the way it works, right? We've taken out we've actually, swept, rated the internal liquidity, and these lows here are the external liquidity, right? External liquidity. I'm looking at price heading down, all right, and we may see it hit this swing low. All right. But we are in an area of fair value. All right. There's a good reason for price to start to turn back up and visit these lows before coming down here. We could be down here for a minute. That there's that possibility, but I am looking right now, all right, as price is heading down. and we are mitigating this. I'm looking for price to turn around. That's what I'm looking at. That's why I have this little arrow here. All right. So I'm not bullish. All right. I'm not bullish at all. But I am ready to see price turn around here. Same situation with uh, NASDAQ. All right. We have an area of fair value and we're revisiting it. All right. There was a bearish fair value gap here, and price did well to respect it and drop further. We took out this swing low here. That's the difference. Let me show you again. This is that low that we haven't seen already on the S&P. The S&P hasn't come to sweep that low, but it has already happened with the Nasdaq. You know, we look for SMTs, right? The smart money technique. These divergences. Well, there is one there. All right, and we are in a weekly fair value gap. If I'm not mistaken, I thought that was a weekly fair value gap, but there's another. There's a daily one right below that. So price could want, if it wants to, of course, it could come down a little further before pulling back. But every time price takes out these swing lows, I'm looking for price to curl back up to pull back. So I am got my eye out for those pullbacks. All right, to test these lows. We also want to keep an eye out for the development of more fair value gaps. All right, if price creates a bearish fair value gap here, all right, then you know we're coming down to test these fair value gaps down here, and we're going to be looking. You can be looking for short-term sells, but I believe because of where price is located in this trading range, all right. I'm just looking at the levels, all right, and the levels say that we're past the 50 percentile, and I did it. I got this wrong. Got it upside down. All right, we're past the 50 percentile, past the 618, and we're finding support at the 705. This is in right in the OTE pocket, the optimal trade entry pocket. So I'm looking for support to be found here. All right. I'm also looking up that far. Let me see on the weekly. Was that? Yeah, it was. It was a weekly fair value gap. All right, and this is aligned with the 705. So this is an area where I'll be looking to see if price starts to show signs that it wants to pull back. All right, if we go to the Dow, which is doing its own thing, all right, uh, you can see that we made new all-time highs here, and price tried to fill this wick, right? Did not succeed, but you can see how Friday's candle, I'm sorry, last week's candle, all right? You can see that Thursday and Friday's candle straight down breaking this structure here. This is a failed swing high. This is a successful swing high, right? And then, but this one couldn't go any higher. So it's a very bearish sign, a very bearish indication. And this is the previous monthly low here, and we are heading towards that low. All right. I am looking for this low first. Okay. I'm looking for that low first to be tapped because it's a swing low. And when I start to see price again, like I said, when I start to see price take out swing lows, then you start to think, you look for the pullbacks. All right. And I'm also in this bearish leg. You want to see if Monday or Tuesday we start to develop a, a bearish fair value gap, which would indicate that price is going to continue lower, possibly to these lows. All right. Bearish on the Dow. Let's look at gold. Gold got my interest all just, I mean, I want you to see this big picture. I drew some lines. All right. You can see that high. You can see that high. You can see that high. That's not by mistake. That's not by randomness. All right. I'm not talking about trading with trend lines. That's not what I'm doing here, folks. This is a line. And you can see there's kind of a channel going on here. All right. And that's not random. It's not mistaken. Just look, price reached up and touched that high, went a little higher, working on that high. All right. New all-time highs. All right. But you don't see any trading through. That means that that until I see price trade through and with a candle body close above these highs, I'm thinking that there's unfinished business down here. Okay. And we haven't mitigated a or created any bullish fair value gaps up here. All right. The bearish, the bullish fair value gaps. I'm sorry, the bullish fair value gap is here, and I want to see that bullish fair value gap. Well, it was tapped, and then we've seen higher pricing, but you don't see the carry through. I'm looking for price to come back down here. I'm looking for price to end up uh, making a deeper retrace into these fair value gaps here. All right, you can see every time it reaches uh, this diagonal line of resistance, if you will, uh, price drops. I'm thinking, I'm just thinking that it may drop from there. If we go to the weekly, again, I'm not a support and resistance guy. Don't even think that. But you look at levels, price levels that hold significant price action, and that's all I'm recognizing. That's significant there. Why can't we beat this? Why can't we trade through that? That's my question. All right. Yeah, the bullish fair value gap held and pushed price higher, but we don't have any trading through. We just have sweeps. Why? Because I think we're probably going to be seeing some lower pricing. I hope that logic holds for you. Leave me a comment in the comment section, all right, or a question, and I will be happy to answer it. I answer and respond to all of my viewers. Any comment, I'm going to respond. All right. Now on the daily, what do I see? We have a area of fair value, a really nice bullish candle that shows the price traded through that area of full value. That you like to see that kind of move away from the zone, right? And then price comes back, leaves a fair value gap there. Price comes back to, and that was Friday with all that news, NFP, right? And it turned into a big old doji. What do I think? I think we're going to find support here, and price will move up higher to this draw on liquidity up here. But we may see some sideways action first before that happens. All right, that's the way I see it as of right now. I'm looking for higher pricing in gold. All right, if we go to silver, I'm not going to be able to finish this doggone video. If we go to silver, uh, silver is a different situation. It's weaker to me, more bearish. Look at this structure here that price broke structure on. All right, it's a bearish break of structure. I'm bearish in this market. Yeah, we came down to this fair value gap, and you can see there was an area of fair value here. Price had a nice trade through it. Here we come to revisit it, and we did find support here. But do we have the lift off? I don't see that lift off. I see it. I see it in gold. If you don't mind me going back to it, I see it in gold. All right. You see this same area price went higher on, but in silver we broke that area. All right. So I am more bearish here. All right. We may see price take that high out, and then we're going to see bearish pricing here. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'll continue with oil and the FX pairs in the next video, part two of my weekly Forex forecast. I'll see you then. May profits be upon you, and